Hello, greetings. Welcome to the Human Empowerment Project. Thank you for joining me. I'd like to first share our email address here and invite any feedback or comments, questions that you might have, or if you have a particular question or topic you'd like me to cover. Our email address is the Human Empowerment Project 2016 at gmail.com. Again, that email address is the Human Empowerment Project 2016 at gmail.com. Thank you. I'd like to continue the series that we've been on. Why and how to connect with yourself. I'd like to start by revisiting last week's video and expounding on a point that I made that I realized was perhaps a little bit unclear. That point was under why to connect with yourself, and the point that I made was that human beings are meant for connection. But the reality is I didn't expound on connection to what. I'd like to fill that in a little bit. First of all, it seems very obviously that, or very obvious, that human beings are meant to live in and operate in connectedness to themselves, to life, to others. When we do this, it restores the natural, you can think of it as the natural flow of life, the natural connectedness. It feels amazing. It feels like we're meant to. It feels like peace. I would also like to say that living in connectedness resolves emotional turmoil, not necessarily instantaneously, but as a gradual and natural process. It brings things into harmony. And so the distress that we're feeling inside can naturally be alleviated through forming an ongoing connection of love and gentleness with ourselves. It's also very helpful and important to note that everything that we do for ourselves, we automatically do for others. I know that I have already said this in prior videos, but I feel it's inherently very important and very assistant, both for our well-being in our lives, as well as for the well-being of all life on this planet. From that note, from that perspective, it's very important to remember that everything that we do for ourselves, we energetically and physically do for everybody. And so the peace that we cultivate within ourselves is the peace that we take with us into the world wherever we go and whoever, whatever we interact with. Now, I'd also like to add a couple of points to why to connect with ourselves. One is that when we flow in connection, we feel full of joy and full of peace. It's so much so that you might find yourself laughing and smiling for no reason at all, or sometimes there is a reason, but seemingly very little. And this is contagious. It brings joy to others around us. It brings lightness. A second point that I would like to elaborate a little bit on that I already mentioned a minute ago is that cultivating love, because our being wants and needs our devotion, our love, our connectedness, and is really using everything within life to communicate to us that it wants and needs our affection. When we do this, it resolves that inner turmoil or that inner longing for our connection. Sometimes that can feel like a hole inside of us, or a void, a, an emptiness that we're looking for something to fill that emptiness with. That emptiness is ourselves asking for our love and our connection, our devotion, our time, our energy. Now, I'd like to move on to visiting how to connect with yourself. I'd first like to go back and revisit a point made in the last video and expound on it. That point was spending a regular time with ourselves to form connection. Now, I'd like to first start off, and this isn't just for this point, or even just this video, or just connecting with ourselves, but everything in general, really. There is no right or wrong way. And most immediately, I'm speaking of connecting with ourselves. There's no right or wrong way to do this, to spend time with yourself. I'm going to give you a few suggestions, but I invite and encourage you to feel into what feels best for you. And when in doubt, ask life, ask your soul for help and assistance. So first of all, it's important to spend regular time alone by yourself, where there are no distractions, where you can just be focused on the task at hand, on connecting with yourself. And second of all, I find it very helpful to focus on our breath, focus on being aware of our breath. The reason why is the breath is the natural connection to spirit, to life. You could think of it as sort of a bridge between the physical and the non-physical. And it's also the essence that gives our physical beings life. And it also can take our consciousness to a place of deep rest, i.e. through meditation. But through focusing on our breath, watching it rise and fall, feeling it rise and fall, takes us into a place of focused peace. And a third point that I would like to mention about spending regular time with ourselves is that at the beginning of spending time with ourselves, it's very helpful and very important to repeat every time, recite until it feels it's automatically and naturally understood, to repeat our intention out loud so that our own being can hear it, so that our brain can hear it and knows, oh, this is what we're doing. We're here to connect with ourselves. It also sends a signal to our subconscious to initiate the process, which it is our subconscious that largely creates or dictates our conscious experience of life. I would really encourage a final aspect is to give ourselves a big hug. Now, this might seem or feel really silly, but there's good reason behind this. A large part of it is the fact that it's giving ourselves physical touch, physical affection. And now it gets even stronger and more potent to couple that physical affection of a hug with words, with telling ourselves that we love ourselves, that we appreciate ourselves. We're very thankful for all that our body and being does for us. Now, I'd like to also add 2 points in the line of how to connect with yourself. The first one is to practice gentleness with ourselves. I realize in this modern, very busy world, practicing gentleness can seem very challenging, but it's very, very rewarding. I would say the first thing is to not hold rigid expectations or shoulds for ourselves. Don't should on yourself. In the sense, don't expect yourself unrealistically. And if you don't meet your desired goal or expectation, tell yourself it's okay. If something else comes up rather than how you would like yourself to react or goals to be reached, I strongly encourage and invite you to have a simple conversation with your being, to tell yourself it's okay that we did this, or we thought this, or we said this. But next time, let's do it this way. Gentleness is very, very assistant and helpful to breaking old habits and creating new, empowering ones. Another final point I would add to being gentle is that when we resist ourselves, when we act harshly, when we condemn ourselves, when we judge ourselves, it actually is self-defeating to a large extent. It doesn't bring about the desired results. I know that our intention is usually because we don't want to keep doing things that way, or we want things this way because we feel or know that it would be better for us. But the reality is that when we resist, when we chastise, when we speak down to ourselves, when we're hard on ourselves, it actually elongates the process that we experience. And rather than bring resolution, it allows that experience to go on that way. So I invite you to be gentle with yourself, to tell yourself it's okay, and to love yourself through your process. And lastly, I would strongly encourage to just be present. Be present with yourself in the process. Whatever comes up, whatever you feel, love it, honor it. Recognize that when feelings of when things that don't feel comfortable come up, whether it be sadness or anger or anxiety or whatnot, they're simply feelings coming up asking to be felt so that they can be resolved and released. And both they and you can continue on your way. Now, in closing, I would like to again remind that there is no right or wrong way to do this, to go about this, and that also goes for life. Secondly, I would like to thank you for joining me and for being here with us. It's my joy and my honor to assist, to help all who desire to thrive. I would like to, in closing, remind all of our email address here. It's the Human Empowerment Project 2016 at gmail.com. Again, that email address is the Human Empowerment Project at the Human Empowerment Project 2016 at gmail.com. Thank you. Lastly, I would like to ask you to subscribe to the channel and to pass this on to any and all who you feel would benefit. Largely because the more subscribers we have, we can obtain a customized URL, making it easier for all to access. And in final closing, please love, honor, and be gentle with yourself. Thank you very much for joining. May you all thrive. Have a wonderful evening.